Every winter morning, millions of people climb into their car, start the engine, and then sit there like idiots for 10 minutes waiting for the windshield to clear. They wipe it with their sleeve. They crank the defrost. They try the air conditioning, then the heat, then the air conditioning again. And the whole time, the side windows are still completely blind. Here is what nobody tells you. The Germans solved this problem decades ago. Not with a product, not with a gadget, with a method, a ventilation principle so effective that it is literally written into rental agreements across the entire country. Landlords in Germany can legally require you to do this. That is how seriously they take it. And the thing is, this method does not just work for houses. It works for your car, your bathroom mirror, your garage, any enclosed space where glass fogs up. Once you understand the science behind it, you will never fight a foggy windshield again. I am going to break down exactly what the German method is, why it works when everything else fails, and then give you the 5-step system to apply it to your vehicle so your windows stay clear, even in a downpour. Step 5 is the one that changed everything for me. I spent years doing it wrong, and one adjustment fixed it overnight. Let us start with why your windows fog up in the first place, because if you do not understand the problem, every solution is just a guess. Here is the basic physics. Your car window fogs up when moisture in the air touches a surface that is colder than something called the dew point. The dew point is the exact temperature at which water vapor in the air turns into liquid. Think about a cold glass of water on a hot day. That sweat on the outside of the glass? That is condensation. The same exact thing happens on your windshield. In the winter, you get in the car. You are breathing. Maybe you have a coffee. Your jacket is damp from the rain. Your body heat is warming up the cabin. Suddenly there is all this moisture trapped in a tiny enclosed space, and your windshield is ice cold from sitting outside all night. The warm, humid air hits the cold glass, the temperature drops below the dew point, and boom! You cannot see a thing. In the rain, it gets worse. You have wet shoes, wet clothes, a wet umbrella dripping on the floor. The humidity inside the car skyrockets, while the glass stays cool from the rain hitting the outside. Perfect storm for fog. And this is not just annoying. It is dangerous. According to the Federal Highway Administration, roughly 38,700 vehicle crashes happen in foggy conditions every year in the United States. Over 16,000 people are injured. Foggy windows impair your ability to see the road, judge distances, and react to sudden changes. In some states, driving with an obstructed windshield is actually against the law. You can get a ticket for it. So what do most people do? They hit the defrost button. Maybe they turn on the air conditioning. Maybe they crack a window. And yeah, those things help eventually, but they are reactive. You are fighting the fog after it has already formed. You are treating the symptom and ignoring the cause. The Germans do it differently. In Germany, there is a practice called Lüften, pronounced Lüften, and it translates to airing out. But it is much more than just opening a window. It is a structured, intentional system for exchanging stale, humid air with fresh, dry air. Germans do this in their homes every single day, usually twice, once in the morning and once in the evening. And they have been doing it for generations. Here is why it matters. German homes are built to be airtight. Their insulation standards are some of the strictest in the world. The windows seal completely. The walls lose almost no heat, which is great for energy efficiency, but terrible for moisture. Because when you trap warm air inside a sealed space, and humans are breathing and cooking and showering, humidity builds up fast. That humidity condenses on the coldest surfaces in the room, usually the windows. Sound familiar? So the Germans developed Lüften to solve exactly this problem. There are two specific techniques within the method. The first is called stoßlüften. The name means shock ventilation. You open the windows fully, all the way for a short, intense burst. In winter, 5 to 10 minutes. In spring and fall, 10 to 15 minutes. In summer, 20 to 30 minutes. The idea is not to leave the window cracked all day. That actually wastes energy and does not move enough air. You open wide, you let the humid air rush out and the dry air rush in, and then you close everything back up. The walls and furniture retain their heat because they have thermal mass. You are only replacing the air, not cooling the structure. So the room warms back up quickly, but now the air is fresh and dry. The second technique is called querlueften, which means cross ventilation. You open windows on opposite sides of the home at the same time. This creates a draft that flushes out the entire volume of air in the space in just a few minutes. It is dramatically more effective than opening a single window. During the COVID pandemic, the German government recommended querlueften as a public health measure to reduce viral transmission in enclosed spaces. That is how proven this method is. It is not folk wisdom. It is engineering. Now here is where it gets interesting for your car. Your vehicle is basically a tiny, airtight German apartment. It is sealed. It is insulated. And when you are inside it, you are pumping moisture into a very small enclosed volume. Your breath alone puts out roughly 200 milliliters of water vapor per hour. Add a passenger, and you have doubled that. Add wet clothes from the rain, a hot coffee, damp floor mats, and you are sitting in a humidity chamber. The defrost button works, eventually, because it blows heated air against the windshield to raise the glass temperature above the dew point. The air conditioning works because it dehumidifies the air as it passes over the cold evaporator coil. But both of these are slow. They take minutes to work. And in those minutes, you are driving half-blind or sitting in a parking lot watching the clock. The German method applied to your car works faster and more effectively because it attacks the root cause. You are not warming the glass. You are not mechanically drying the air. You are replacing the humid air entirely with fresh outside air in one quick burst. Here is the 5-step system. Do these in order, and your windows will stay clear, even when it is pouring rain outside. Step 1. Before you even start the car, open all 4 windows completely for 30 to 60 seconds. This is your stoßlüften. Yes, even if it is cold. Yes, even if it is drizzling. You are purging the stale, moisture-laden air that has been trapped in the car overnight. The cabin air has been sitting there absorbing moisture from your floor mats, your seats, and any residual dampness from the day before. You need it out. 30 seconds of fully open windows replaces nearly all of it. The seats and dashboard retain their temperature because they have thermal mass, just like the walls in a German home. You are only swapping the air. Step 2. Close all the windows and immediately turn on your climate control. But here is where most people mess this up. Do not press recirculate. That mode takes the humid air already inside the car and keeps cycling it around. That is the opposite of what you want. You want fresh air mode. This pulls dry outside air through the system. Set it to the defrost position and turn on the air conditioning even if you also have the heat on. That combination, heat plus air conditioning, is the fastest way to dehumidify because the air conditioning strips moisture from the air while the heat warms it up and directs it onto the glass. Step 3. Manage your moisture sources. This is the one nobody thinks about. If your floor mats are wet, that water is constantly evaporating into the cabin air. It is a fog machine sitting at your feet. Shake the water off your shoes before you get in. If you have an umbrella, put it in a plastic bag or in the trunk, not on the passenger seat. If your coat is soaked, take it off and put it in the back. Every source of moisture you eliminate from the cabin is less fog on the glass. Here is a trick the Germans use in their homes that translates perfectly. In winter, they avoid drinking hot beverages near windows because the steam adds humidity to the air right next to the cold glass. Same thing in your car. That hot coffee you are sipping on your commute is steaming directly onto your windshield. I am not saying give up coffee. I am saying put a lid on it. Putting a lid cuts the steam and keeps humidity lower close to the glass. Step 4. Keep your interior glass clean. This is the detail that most people completely overlook, and it makes a massive difference. A clean windshield and windows reduce the thin film that helps fog form, so clean glass is safer. Dirty glass fogs up faster than clean glass. Here is why. Dirt, oil, and grime on the interior surface of your windshield create microscopic irregularities. Those irregularities give water vapor more places to nucleate, which means tiny droplets form on the surface. The dirtier the glass, the more sites for condensation to grab onto. A perfectly clean window resists fogging significantly longer. Use an ammonia-free glass cleaner and a microfiber cloth. Clean the inside of every window, not just the windshield. The side windows and rear window fog up too, and they do not have a defroster blowing on them. Do this once a month, and you will notice the difference immediately. Some people go a step further and apply a hydrophilic anti-fog coating to the interior glass. These coatings work by causing moisture to spread into a thin, transparent sheet, instead of forming individual droplets that scatter light. They last anywhere from a few weeks to a few months, depending on the product. It is the same principle behind anti-fog coatings on ski goggles and scuba masks. Step 5. This is the game changer. Use a car dehumidifier. This is straight out of the German playbook for homes, adapted for vehicles. You can buy a small silica gel dehumidifier for under $10. Toss it on your dashboard or under a seat. It passively absorbs moisture from the cabin air around the clock, even when the car is off and parked overnight. This is critical because most of the fogging problem starts before you even get in the car. The moisture is already there, waiting. A dehumidifier works while you sleep. The Germans use silica packets everywhere, in their closets, in their storage rooms, and in their shoes. It is the same material that comes in those little do not eat packets in new shoe boxes and electronics packaging. For your car, get something bigger, a reusable silica gel bag that you can recharge by tossing it in the oven for a couple of hours once a month. Some people use cat litter in an old sock for the same effect. It sounds ridiculous, but it works. Cat litter is designed to absorb moisture. Fill a sock to the ankle, tie it off, and toss it under the seat. It will pull humidity out of the air overnight and dramatically reduce morning fog. Now, there is one more piece to this that ties the whole German philosophy together, and it is the thing that really made me rethink how I deal with windows in general. The Germans invented the tilt and turn window in the 1950s. It is called a Drehkippfenster, and it is the standard window in virtually every home in Germany and most of Europe. These windows have a single handle that operates in 3 positions. With the handle down, the window is sealed shut with multiple locking points all around the frame. Turn the handle 90 degrees, and the window swings fully open inward, like a door for maximum airflow, your Stoßlüften position. Turn the handle another 90 degrees, and the window tilts inward from the top, creating a narrow gap that lets fresh air flow in without letting rain, wind, or intruders inside. This tilt position is genius. It allows controlled ventilation even in bad weather. Rain hits the glass and deflects away because the opening is at the top, angled inward. Air flows in gently without creating a blast of cold wind. You get constant passive air exchange without the downsides. This is the principle you should apply to your car when it is raining. You do not need to open the windows all the way in a storm. Crack them just half an inch. That narrow gap at the top mimics the German tilt window effect. Fresh, drier, outside air enters the cabin while rain stays out. Combined with the fresh air mode on your climate control, this small crack makes an enormous difference. It gives the humid cabin air somewhere to escape instead of just cycling it around. Most people think they have to choose between staying dry and staying fog-free. The German method says you can have both. You just have to be strategic about airflow. Let me put this all together for you. The reason the German method works so much better than just hammering the defrost button is that it treats the cause, not the symptom. Fog is a humidity problem, not a temperature problem. Yes, warming the glass helps, but if the air is saturated with moisture, that fog will keep coming back. The German approach systematically reduces cabin humidity through rapid air exchange, moisture source management, passive dehumidification, and controlled ventilation. It is a system, not a one-button fix. And the beautiful thing is it costs almost nothing. A silica gel bag, a microfiber cloth, some glass cleaner, and a change in habit. That is it. No expensive heated windshield upgrade. No special gadgets. Just the same engineering mindset that Germany has used for generations to keep 38 million homes fog-free through some of the coldest, dampest winters in Europe. If this changed how you think about foggy windows, hit subscribe. I have more videos coming on simple methods that solve everyday problems most people just put up with. And if you want to go deeper on how the Germans engineer their homes for air quality and moisture control, I did a full breakdown on that. It is right here. These are small changes that make a real difference. Try the 5-step system on your next cold morning. You will never sit in a foggy car again. Take it or leave it. I will see you in the next one.